Okay, let's unpack this. You know that feeling right after a season finale?
Oh, yeah.
That moment where the screen goes black, credits roll, and you're just sitting there kind of
A
buzzing.
little stunned, maybe.
Yeah, wondering what just happened because everything you thought you knew got, well, completely turned upside down.
It's that perfect cliffhanger, isn't it? The one that just leaves you scrambling,
Yep.
full of questions.
Sends you straight online trying to figure it all out.
Exactly.
And that is precisely the feeling we got from the recent season finale of, the legendary Doctor Who. It delivered one of those moments.
A really jaw-dropping moment. The internet's definitely buzzing about this one.
Absolutely. And to help us sort of make sense of it all, we've been digging into a few recent news reports.
Right. We've got bits from AP News, The Guardian, BBC News. They're all hitting the same big story.
But when you read them together, you start to see like different angles, different layers. So our mission for this deep dive is to go way beyond just saying, here's what happened. We want to pinpoint the really crucial facts these articles bring up.
Ask some, pressing questions about what it all means.
Yeah, and connect the dots. Try and get a more comprehensive picture of what this finale actually signifies for, one of TV's longest running shows.
Get ready, because there are some pretty surprising details tucked away in these reports.
What's always interesting with this stuff, isn't it, is how reporting on the, let's say, creative choices also tells you so much about the business side.
Oh, definitely. The money, the ratings, the sort of cultural currents around the show. It's all in there if you look.
It really is. Okay, so let's jump right in. The core event, the thing all these articles are talking about, Ncuti Gatwa's surprise departure as the Doctor.
Yep, the sources are clear on that. His doctor regenerated right at the end of Saturday's finale.
And one thing that immediately stands out in the reporting is how short his time was. Just 2 seasons, they say.
Yet one source even specifies only 18 months. Which, in Doctor Who terms, that feels really quick, doesn't it?
It really does. And one article highlights it shortest tenure since Christopher Eccleston, back in 2005.
That comparison alone kind of tells you how abrupt this might feel to longtime viewers. Gives it some historical context.
We also get a little insight into Gatwa's own feelings, from quotes in the articles.
Right. He talks about how nothing really prepares you for handing back the sonic screwdriver.
Calls the journey unforgettable, says the role will be part of him forever. It sounds like it was, intense but meaningful for him.
For sure. Even if it was brief.
But that brevity, it does raise a question straight away, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Most doctors stick around for several years. So why such a quick regeneration this time? Was it always the plan for this Doctor story, or is there maybe something else going on behind the scenes? Especially given that 18-month time frame.
It's a fair question. And it leads us straight into where things get really interesting. Because right after Gatwa regenerates, bam, a very, very familiar face appears. All the sources are reporting it. Billie Piper.
Billie Piper. For anyone who jumped on board with the 2005 revival, she is Rose Tyler.
Iconic companion. 9th Doctor, 10th Doctor. Huge part of the show's return.
Absolutely massive. She was in, 35 episodes between 2005 and 2013 across her different appearances. Her connection to modern Coke, who is just undeniable.
And here's the thing. The articles are really stressing. The secrecy. Producers, showrunner Russell T. Davies. They are being deliberately, almost aggressively quiet about why she's back and who she is now.
They are leaning so hard into the mystery box on this one. The BBC statement basically says just how and why she's back remains to be seen.
And Piper herself is quoted saying pretty much the same thing. Who, how, why, and when, you'll just have to wait and see.
They definitely want everyone guessing.
And there's this one detail highlighted in an article that really fuels the speculation. Her credit in the finale.
Right. It didn't say guest star or anything like that.
No. It said, and introducing Billie Piper.
Introducing Billie Piper, an actress who was, you could argue, the face of the companion role when the show exploded globally again.
That's quite weird.
What does that mean? Using introducing. Is she Rose, but a different version? Or someone totally new who just happens to look identical? Is it some kind of meta joke?
It just forces you to ask, why?
Yeah.
Why be so secretive about her role specifically? Bringing back such a huge figure from the past?
Yeah.
But in a totally unknown way? That's a massive creative move.
So what does it signal for a show that's literally built on change, on regeneration leaving the past behind? Is it just a hook?
Or a clever bit of misdirection? Or does it maybe suggest something really different about how the show sees its own history now?
Let's stick with that idea of regeneration in history, because Gatwa's exit, yeah, it's framed as regeneration, but this one feels, well, it feels loaded.
There's more going on than just the short tenure we talked about.
Yeah.
It's the context around the regeneration itself, as the articles describe it.
Right. One article mentions another familiar face popped up during the finale sequence. Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor.
And the source connects her appearance to Gatwa's Doctor, seeming to travel through alternate universes during this whole thing.
Which isn't typical, is it? Seeing past Doctors during the regeneration itself?
Not usually, no. So what could that mean? Showing past selves, especially if it's tied to alternate universes. Does that suggest something about this Doctor's identity at this moment?
Or maybe something unstable about this specific regeneration? If it's tied up with alternate realities, maybe the process itself is different somehow.
Could be. And then there's another layer about identity the articles touch on, tied to that introducing credit speculation.
Ah, right. And it is just speculation based on the credit, but if Billie Piper somehow turned out to be the 16th Doctor.
She'd be the third woman in the role. The article points this out, mentioning Jodie Whittaker, obviously, and also Joe Martin.
Who played the fugitive Doctor, that previously unknown past version, added a whole new wrinkle to the Doctor's timeline.
Exactly. So seeing Whittaker, Martin, and now potentially Piper being discussed like this, it makes you wonder about the casting pattern recently.
What does having 3 women play the Doctor, or being seriously talked about in that context in a relatively short space of time, what does that tell us about how the show itself understands who the Doctor can be? The sources seem to flag this as noteworthy.
And beyond the on-screen stuff, the articles give us some really important background, about Doctor Who as a big TV production these days.
Like, they all mention Russell T Davies being back as showrunner, his second time around, after bringing it back so successfully in '05. That's significant experience at the helm.
And they really highlight the partnership with Disney Plus for everywhere outside the UK, explicitly saying this deal brought a bigger budget.
Which makes you think, right, how might that extra cash influence things? Bigger scale stories, better effects, more ambitious filming. The sources suggest this is a key factor now.
But then, on the flip side, the articles also mentioned that this current era, well, it's faced historically low ratings in the UK.
Right.
In its home market.
That's quite a contrast, isn't it? Big global budget, Disney Plus deal, but struggling ratings domestically.
It presents this interesting tension. How do those UK numbers affect creative choices when the show is also this massive global thing now? Does that pressure maybe influence decisions like bringing back a really popular star like Billie Piper to create buzz?
The articles definitely lay out those two competing realities.
They also touch briefly on some of the cultural chatter around the show. They mention the Dr. Woke criticism.
Which has been directed particularly at casting choices, the sources note.
Right. And it's important, as you said, the sources report this criticism exists. But then one source also includes a counter view from Varada Sethu, who plays the companion Belinda this season.
Yeah, she's quoted basically saying, woke just means inclusive, progressive, and that the core of Doctor Who is kindness, love.
So it gives you both sides of that conversation, as reported, around the show's direction and diversity efforts.
And just quickly, one source mentions the upcoming spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea, just to show the Who-niverse is still expanding.
Right. So the main show isn't happening in a vacuum.
So when you take a step back, read these articles carefully, ask these kinds of questions about the details, what does it all add up to?
Well, what the reporting really shows is that this finale isn't just your standard Doctor Who handover. It's not just actor A out, actor B in.
No, it feels much more complex.
It's like a convergence, isn't it? You've got the show's basic engine regeneration butting up against this deliberate, heavily hyped mystery around a huge past star.
Tied into the show's own long history with these returning characters, but also shaped by, the real world of TV today.
Exactly. Those domestic ratings challenges versus the big international funding from the Disney deal, that's a major backdrop.
And it's all happening, as the articles point out, amidst these ongoing cultural debates about representation, identity, what fans expect from a show that's been around this long.
So why is seeing this bigger picture valuable for you, listening?
Because it really shows how many different forces, creative choices, show history, money, cultural context are all swirling around, keeping a show like Doctor Who going, trying to keep it fresh after decades.
It shows how even a surprising twist you see on screen can have these deeper roots in things happening off screen, in the business side, or in how the show fits into the wider world.
It's a good reminder, isn't it? Even a show about time travel is still made in the real world, with real-world pressures and influences.
Definitely.
So just to wrap up this deep dive, we've unpacked Ncuti Gatwa's unexpected exit via regeneration.
Dived into that really intriguing mystery around Billie Piper's return in this unknown role.
Looked at why this regeneration sequence with other doctors appearing might be significant.
And considered those outside factors, ratings, funding, cultural conversations that the sources tell us are shaping the show's path.
Considering Doctor Who's unique ability to just hit reset with regeneration, and its willingness now, it seems, to revisit its past in these really unexpected ways, it leaves us with a final thought for you.
Yeah, something for you to kind of chew on. What do you think is the most crucial thing for the show's future, for its continued success and relevance?
Is it sticking really tightly to all the established lore? Is it embracing totally radical, unpredictable change?
Or is it about finding some new kind of balance, honoring that deep legacy while still boldly exploring totally new ground?
Definitely something to think about as we all wait to see what this Billie Piper mystery is actually all about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.